Hey everybody, welcome to my usual me, welcome back to Life is Feudal the MMO. This is 0.2.0, and there were some new abilities and some new mechanics added, so I wanted to go ahead and run through those with you. They were posted yesterday in the update of the guide, so I want to go ahead and let you know what they are right now. Let's go ahead and check them out. Alrighty guys, the new abilities, they have Hew, Wash Ore, Shape Stones, Chop, and Mix, and use Big Tanning Tub. So the the ability gives you a random gemstone out of raw gems and rough gems with a chance to find a cracked gem. Luck affects the chance to acquire a gem. It is precious prospecting. It unlocks at level 60. It works on raw gems and rough gems, and you need a jeweler's toolkit. Raw gems and rough gems are rare resources that can be obtained in different regions. You can get the following gemstones. From a raw gem, you can get a diamond, a ruby, an amethyst, or a garnet. From a rough gem, you can get a diamond, a sapphire, an emerald, or an amethyst. The possibility to break a gem decreases with the increase of the precious prospecting level. So if you guys want to get gems, this is how you're going to do it. I haven't found I haven't found a raw gem or a rough gem yet, but my miner's working on getting leveled up, so we're going to get, as soon as we find some, we'll check this out and we'll see how it works. Wash ore. Now, I've actually done this. It says precious prospecting level 0 on the ore washer, gold ore or silver ore in water. Wash ore allows you a low chance to acquire a silver nugget or a gold nugget from a certain ore. Luck affects the chance of getting a nugget. To use, click on the ore washer and use wash ore, and a 300 stone container window will open. You need at least 10 pieces of silver ore or gold ore in the container and at least 1 unit of water in your inventory to perform the ability. After a successful usage of the ore washer, it loses 10 durability points. Note, during one ability usage, one character can process up to 10 pieces of ore, but several characters can use the ore washer at the same time. So that's a fast way to just wear out your ore washer. But you can get a lot more material processed, faster. So I did use this. We have a bunch of gold over in Eppeland. I made one of these and I filled it up and I washed it. And out of all of the gold that I put in it, I got one nugget. One nugget for 300 stones worth of gold. And the rest of it turned into dirt. So be aware that make sure that your ability is high as possible before you attempt this. Otherwise, you're going to be losing. You're going to go through a lot of gold just to find a nugget. And so the rest of it just washes away, turns into dirt. So, yeah, and what does that do? I believe it's like a lump. I believe it's going to work the same as a lump. You might be able to go straight to a ring from that point without having to smelt it. But in my opinion, you're better off just to smelt the ore, guys. Really. Unless there is another hidden reason to have a nugget that I don't know about, that they haven't said, that's important. You can't sell gold or silver to the crown, so I can't think of any other reason to have a nugget than to make it into a piece of jewelry right directly. So, yeah, I mean, use this with that grain of salt. All right, so shape stones. Material processing is the skill. It's at level 0. Stone mason's workplace. The needed items are rock, marble, granite, and a pickaxe. Now, if you shape the stone in the container, it will allow you to shape 1 rock from 20 rocks, 1 marble plate from 20 marble, and 1 shaped granite from 20 granite. It's the same as it was. You used to do it in your inventory. Now you're using a station. It's pretty fast, but the problem with this is, well, let me tell you how to use it first. Click on the stonemason's workplace and choose shaped stones, opening a 400 stone container window. You'll need at least 20 pieces of rock, marble or granite in the container, and a pickaxe equipped to perform the shaping. After successfully using the ability, the stonemason's workplace durability depletes by 20 points, and the pickaxe by 40 durability points. During one iteration, one character can process up to 20 pieces of material. Multiple characters can use the stonemason's workplace at the same time. Now, I've done this too. We have one over on one of Monagard's plots. It works pretty quick. I like it. I think it's really cool. I know it was something different. You used to have to shape the stones in your inventory. It's definitely quicker than the old system, but you also have to make the workstation, and you have to have a pick equipped. But you always had to have a pick equipped, though. You always had to click on a pick to make it work. and so that durability loss isn't a big deal, but you have this additional durability loss. But with the addition of repair kits being so easy to make, now it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. You can repair your stuff pretty darn easy, so long as you have a few nails in your pocket. All right, so chop. Skill is forestry, level 0. You apply it on tree logs, and you need a hatchet. Allows you to chop billets from fallen trees with a hatchet. So what that basically is, guys, is if you don't have, you don't have a saw, you need billets, you can go ahead and chop them out with a hatchet. It makes it really super easy. You don't need it. It's forestry 0. You don't need to have forestry to be able to saw logs or whatnot. So you don't need to have carpentry to be able to saw the logs out. So I mean, saw the billets out. So you can do that. Even though you can't saw logs and you can't saw boards, you're going to be able to chop billets, even at a really, really super low level. So you're going to be able to put your personal claim down, or you're going to be able to use that billets for whatever you're going to need. Carve handles if you wanted to carve handles, I guess. Pretty much whatever you want. But if you don't have a saw, but you've got a hatchet, this is helpful to you. All right, mix. Skill material processing, level 60. Apply on sand, flux, rock, or limestone, or gypsum. This ability allows the mixing of mortars, a resource for advanced construction. Open the inventory and click Craft button below, or press the hotkey 0. Click the sand icon and choose the mortar you want to craft. Pretty simple stuff. I haven't made any, but it's pretty straightforward. And now, one of my favorite things that they added, use the big tanning tub. Skill, procreation, level 90. Now it's level 90, but it's a big tanning tub. Dry hides, flax stems, and water. Those are the 3 items that you might need. You're definitely going to need water, and you could either use flax stems or dried hides. The big tanning tub is used to create leather out of dried hides and boil flax stem. It allows you to boil 10 dried hides or 100 flax stems at a time. Requires 20 water in your inventory to start the process. I'm loving the idea of this. I haven't tried it yet, but it is so good. So you don't have to have all these tanning tubs stacked on top of each other. This is super, super good. We're definitely going to be using this as soon as I can. So, stay tuned for that. I'm gonna show you how to use that as soon as I can. I've been gone. I was gone for 5 days. I'm 5 days behind everybody else, so I'm trying to get caught up. All right, mechanic improvements. Plants. We reworked most of the plant mechanics. Guys, this is a really, really weird system for me and I think for a lot of people. And it's frustrating because the trading system is not working right now. I mean, the delivery system isn't working right now in the trading posts. They got to fix it, man. Devs, you've got to fix your trading posts, please, because this is really frustrating for a lot of us that are trying to cook and do things. All right, first of all, certain plants have their own specific region where they can be planted. All right, the plant seeds are only found in the relevant region during the planting period. Regional plants are divided into 2 groups, vegetables and grains. The vegetable group is made up of cabbage, onions, carrots, and peas. Grains are wheat, rye, barley, and oat. Only 1 regional plant from each group can be grown. For us, it's barley and cabbages is what we've got. The second change of the system is wild and domestic plants. The seeds for the first one can be found in the wild as before. Meanwhile, the seeds for domestic plants can be randomly obtained by your own group grown harvest only. So what happens is you plant the wild seeds, you grow the wild plants, and then you have a random chance to be able to get domesticated seeds or domesticated plants. So at first you're not going to get all domesticated plants from the wild seeds. There's only going to be a few. Then you got to plant those, do another run, and I don't know if you'll get wild as well. You probably will. There probably will be a random chance to get wild again, but maybe not. They might lock you into the domestic after that completely. But there are reasons to have wild plants in cooking, because there's some recipes that use wild plants that don't use domesticated plants. So you might want to keep a few of those laying around. All right, third big change in the crop rotation is the crop rotation system. Okay, yeah, which influences the quality of your plant depending on the proper choice of planting sequence of one tile. Now, all plants have their own periods of time where it's possible to sow and harvest them. All the necessary information about plants can be found in the calendar, which I call it the Almanac, right? because it's basically like a farmer's almanac. The planting period, what plant types you can successfully sow this day. Remember, what you sow, when you sow, water is required when planting in addition to plant seeds. Now, it's fresh water, not salt water, obviously, although it may not be so obvious to a lot of people. You have to get it out of wells, guys. Harvesting period, what plant types can be harvested this day. To find out when your plants will be ready to harvest, simply need to find the next harvest period in the calendar. There are several conditions that affect plant quality. The type of previously planted on the tile crops. Okay, so what you planted before. Soil quality, what level of skill you have. Is the soil fertilized? The quality of the water, the seed quality, and luck. Those 7 things come into play. They don't tell you a percentage right here, but we're gonna have to work it out. All right, let me show you about this almanac here. Oh, it got dark. Okay, well, here we go. We're going to hit K. This is the almanac right here. This is the calendar, right? So right now, today, I can seed wild flax, and I can seed domesticated potato. And then it says you can gather wild flax, and you can gather domesticated potato. Trees, I can seed birch, elm, hazel, and spruce, and I can gather mulberry trees, which means you can gather the silkworm cocoons. Breeding-wise, I can breed cows, I can breed rabbits, I can breed sheep, which means that they will be breeding inside of your coop or your stable or your barn. Now they won't breed unless it says they can breed. So I'm gonna have extra rabbits today. So I'm gonna have to go see what about my rabbits and cull them as soon as it gets light. Now, and I can harvest eggs, or chicken. So I mean, there's gonna be eggs that are kicking out of my coop. I know that because it says so. So anyway, guys. So if I want now, let's say I want I want to know when I planted cabbages. I planted cabbages. Let me go over here. Let me turn this up. Okay, I planted cabbages a couple days ago when I could plant cabbages. And here's a short little baby cabbage patch I want to let you know. But I want to know when I'm going to be able to harvest my cabbage. So we'll go back here, and I'm going to fast forward until I see the wild plants start showing up. And as you can see, it says day is in, and it'll tell you how many hours it'll be and how many minutes it'll be until the day starts. So, okay, here we go. In 26 hours and 11 minutes from now, I'm going to be able to not only seed wild vegetables, like the cabbage, carrot, onion, or peas, but I can also gather wild vegetables, cabbage, carrot, onion, or peas. So in 26 hours and 11 minutes, I need to be back here to harvest my cabbage. Now, will I still be able to harvest it the next day? Yes. How about the next day? Yes. How about the next day? Absolutely. And that looks like several days in a row before it goes back to being flax. So that's a whole in real life day, right? 26 to 46. So that's 20 hours that I'm going to be able to harvest. Now, will these plants last that long? I don't know. They might they might actually start to die off if you don't get them right away. I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth. So we'll have to experiment with that, and we're going to have to figure it out because it's a more complex system now. I like it a lot because it makes more sense to me. So, for those of you complaining about immersion, well, there you go. There's some immersion for you. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't going to like it, but there you go. That's what it is. So it's what we deal with. Next, we have waters and wells. Much like the real world, you have salt water and fresh water. Fresh water can be extracted from wells only and can be used for animals, plants, cooking, and other things except for construction. Salt water is what we use for construction now, guys. Just so you know, it's extracted from reservoirs. If you don't know what a reservoir means, it means a lake or a river or the ocean. So, and can only be used for construction. Water can be extracted by using the get water ability on reservoirs and wells. Wells have a limited capacity, and once in an in-game day, each well will get filled with water. The speed of this process depends on the number of wells on one fief. You can extract up to 8 units of water from one well if it has enough water. Note, the water from the well gets better with time. Every time you get water from a full well, there's a random chance the water quality will improve and stay this way until the next quality increases. Anyway, guys, also to be noted is that the wells, the freshwater wells, there's one freshwater well at every single trading post. So look around, find the trading post. By now, all of the trading post water wells are probably at 100 quality. I know the one over at our trading post is at 100 quality. So we go up there and we get our 100 quality water all the time. So and sometimes it's empty. Sometimes people they get it, but a lot of people have their wells right now. So there's less and less people getting wells from that water. So it's something to note. The less influx of people there are, the more chance you're going to have of being able to get some fresh water. Animals also receive some changes. Age. All animals now have 3 stages: young, adult, and old. You can tell the stage of the animal by its deed name or the name on the coop, barn, stable menu. All animals that can be tamed or caught will be in the adult fertile stage. Regions: pigs, cows, and sheep. But I've actually caught chickens in snares and rabbits in snares and put them in the coop, and immediately they turned into an old animal. So don't just automatically assume they're going to be fertile for a decent amount of time, because sometimes they're not. Sometimes they turn into an old animal right away. So you got to be careful with that. During the next tick. So if that happens, you just slaughter them, because they don't breed. So there's no reason to keep them. But that's nice though, because then that gives me an idea. That way, it stops me wondering who I'm going to have to cull when I need stuff. Regions: pigs, cows, and sheep now have 2 region types. The region defines the place where the animal can be tamed, grown, and bred. So, if you don't have it in your region, you can't breed it, and you can't grow it. You can't tame it. I mean, you can tame it, you can bring it to another region, but you're not going to be able to breed it. Calendar: as other parts of our husbandry animal behavior dependent on the in-game calendar, there are also specific periods that animals can breed or acquire resources from them. Like I was showing before, today we can harvest eggs from chickens. Tomorrow it'll be still that. Then in 11 hours I'll be able to harvest milk from cows. I'll be able to breed sheep if I had sheep, and then you can breed chickens and sheep a couple 21 hours from now. And you can still harvest milk though from cows, and then it goes back to eggs and milk. You get the idea, right? You get the idea. And then like 36 hours from now, you can breed horses. It gives you an idea of how the system works. All right. Not only do your animals need food to survive, but they also need fresh water now. It's true. And that fresh water is no joke, man. I've been going through more water than I expected. So, and water's heavy, so you can't put as much food in as you used to be able to. So it's a fine balance. You got to work out your balance. For me, for one coop, I've been putting in about 7 water and 30 flax seeds, because that's what you can with flax or apples is what you can feed your sheep. I mean your chickens or your rabbits, but apples are heavy. Flax seeds aren't as heavy. So you can get more out of your coop. You get more time out of your coop by using flax seeds. So just gather wild flax seeds, and I throw that into the coop. I usually use 30, and then I use about 7 water, and that'll carry me close to a day. I'm still working on it. It might be 8 and 25. We'll see how it goes. But I think 7 and 30 seems like a good one, a good ratio. Here's the table with the animal stages depending on time lived. A chicken it's 10 weeks for the child at the end of childhood. In-game weeks. It's in-game weeks, guys. And so let's see. It's 2 days in real life. We're looking at 3.5 days in real life to become old, and 5 days in real life for a chicken to die. So once they become old, slaughter them. Slaughter them because they're of no use to you. But if it looks like your chickens or your rabbits aren't going to breed for a long period of time, and you know that they're on the cusp of becoming old, I'd pull them, put them into a storage, and wait for it to become a close time for them to breed. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to be experimenting with pulling chickens and rabbits out of the coop and keeping them in storage to see if by putting them in right before you can harvest their eggs or right before they are able to breed, if that will extend their life so that we don't have to harvest these animals so quickly before they become old and you have to get rid of them because they don't breed. I'm thinking that might be a way to extend the life of your animals. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for these notes that they gave us. I hope that it was helpful to you. And why don't you tell me in the comment section below your anything you might have figured out about these notes that you liked or that has been working for you that maybe not is too obvious. You know what I mean? So share it with the class because we want to know. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, do that right now. As I always say, I am my usual me. You be your usual you, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Bye bye.